The minimum requirements for Windows 95 are a 486DX 25 megahertz or higher processor, 4 megabytes of RAM, although 8 megabytes is recommended, and 40 to 45 megabytes of hard disk storage. This, in today's terms, is pretty much a boat anchor, which means it's an older PC that has pretty much served its use. However, these are the minimum requirements, and a Pentium PC with more RAM and more hard drive space will obviously do the job better. The minimum requirements for Windows 98 are a 486DX66, 24 megabytes of RAM, although 32 megabytes is recommended, and from 140 to 315 megabytes of hard disk storage. However, to put that in today's terms, if you did install Windows 98 on a hard drive that was from 140 to 315 megabytes of storage, then you probably wouldn't even be able to install Office 97, and you certainly wouldn't be able to install Office 2000. So these are the absolute minimum requirements. Now, how we get started with the installation depends on what we already have on the computer. We could be doing this as an upgrade from DOS or Windows 3X. We could be doing it as an upgrade from Windows 95 to Windows 98, or we could be doing a clean install on a brand new hard drive. But some general guidelines to follow are that we should disable any terminate stay resident programs that are running. Like, for example, SmartDrive.exe, as we learned, will not be used in Windows 95. So if it's being used in Windows 3.1 or DOS, we need to disable it and keep it disabled during the installation. If we're upgrading from Windows 95 to Windows 98, we need to create a Windows 95 rescue disk. In other words, we need to be able to get back to Windows 95 if for some reason the Windows 98 installation fails. We also need to verify that there's enough space on the hard drive. Depending on the operating system that we're installing, we're going to require different amounts of space on the hard drive. So we need to make sure that the hard drive is large enough. We also need to make sure that the hard drive is cleaned up. We need to run ScanDisk or CheckDisk/R to recover lost clusters. In other words, we just need to clean house and make sure that we're starting off with a good, solid hard drive before we start an upgrade installation. We need to run a current version of antivirus software. After we run the scan with the antivirus software, though, then we need to disable the antivirus software because the antivirus software will interfere with the installation. It's made to look for unusual things, and certainly a new operating system coming in would be unusual to the antivirus software. So we need to disable the antivirus software during the installation. We probably want to save our autoexec.bat and config.sys files. Also files with .ini or .grp extensions. And we need to save these to a disk so that, again, if the Windows 98 installation does not go through, we can get back to our Windows 95 installation. We also want to check the config.sys and autoexec.bat for potential problems. If we have changed the config.sys or the autoexec.bat, or if an installation has changed them, this is especially important if we're upgrading from Windows 3.1 to Windows 95, because Windows 95 will see a config.sys or autoexec.bat file and determine sometimes that it can't use that one, but it's not smart enough to change it. So it'll basically tell you to go change that and come back and try again. Now, Windows 98 is smart enough to make some changes to your config.sys and autoexec.bat. So it will ask you if it's okay to make the changes. So this is how we prepare the hard drive for installation. In our next section, we'll take a look at how we proceed with the installation once the hard drive is prepared.